From the campus of Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, this is MU Report.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for another edition of MU Report Fall 2022. I'm Bella Robinson.
And I'm Chase Matheny. MU Report is a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. You can catch this broadcast at any time on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, onto our top story.
Final exams are on the horizon for Marshall students as the second week of December approaches. Historically, finals are major stressors for us as we juggle assignments, work schedules, and preparation time. And while it's certainly a rite of passage, finals have changed at Marshall in the last few years. More instructors are asking for projects and portfolios rather than traditional tests. Final exam week at Marshall includes a study day, typically Wednesday, so students can catch a break. At the end of all those exams, there's winter graduation for many.
The typical Marshall student may spend up to 7 hours a day on a mobile device, and as Elena Laster reports, a check of your screen tracking app will tell you if you're over or under that startling number.
We are surrounded by technology. We use our phones to wake up in the morning, send emails, check social media, and so much more. Mobile devices are taking over the world, and if you ask some students, they'll say they can't live without them.
5 hours and 45 minutes.
The average is 5.5 hours.
It just updated, 5 hours and 43 minutes.
With daily averages up to nearly 6 hours a day, some students see their phone as much more of a distraction than a tool for success.
I was on the elevator staring at my phone, and I was standing in there and forgot to press the button, and I was just standing in the elevator waiting for it to go, but I didn't press the button.
Like once I start scrolling on TikTok, it's like I can't stop, and then I get nothing done, so it's definitely a distraction.
When it comes time to get work done, many students have different ways to combat the distraction their cell phones are causing.
Usually if I hold myself up in the library, I have an app called Forest where you plant a little tree for like a certain amount of time, and if you open your phone, it'll kill the tree and like kill the whole forest that you've made.
Like putting my phone away, and like I have a ton of my notifications off already, and so I think like more recently it hasn't been like too big of a distraction.
Cell phones give us access to everything right in the palm of our hand, but regardless of that, it's important for students to be able to draw the line between entertainment and productivity. Elena Laster, MU Report.
Doctors continue to warn that distractions are also a problem here at Marshall University. It's especially hazardous if a student is crossing the major streets that border campus.
After the COVID-19 pandemic, many in the Marshall family are trying to be more cautious when it comes to respiratory illnesses. As Victoria Ware reports, health officials at Marshall say that getting a flu shot can really prevent you from getting sick this season.
Make sure you hydrate, and if you're sore, you can take some ibuprofen.
As the weather gets colder, people can become more susceptible to sickness, and experts say that COVID-19 isn't the only illness to be wary of, as the flu can also adversely affect those who contract it. To combat this, health officials at Marshall University are administering flu vaccines in the Memorial Student Center.
Because of the pandemic, we kind of think that COVID's the only respiratory illness out there, but the flu's pretty bad this year too.
Some students say that they are getting vaccinated in order to prevent spreading the flu to those that they are close to. Officials at the Marshall University Wellness Center recommend that students get the vaccine in order to protect themselves and others.
And so they don't bring something home to their loved ones or to others, and it doesn't just spread even greater. So there's a good reason for us to all get the flu shot.
I, personally don't ever have that big of a reaction to the flu, but that doesn't mean that someone like my grandma wouldn't, or someone that I know who's immunocompromised, and I think it's important to protect the community at large.
Health officials encourage people to get a flu shot once a year in order to combat different strains.
The vaccines are updated every year, and around wintertime is when the respiratory illnesses are the worst. So around October, November, you should get your shot so you're covered for the winter.
The flu can present a variety of symptoms ranging from mild to severe. Health experts at Marshall say that the best deterrent to the flu is receiving a vaccination yearly. Victoria Ware, MU Report.
The Marshall Wellness Center also recommends taking preventative measures such as washing your hands, covering your mouth or nose when sneezing and coughing, and staying home when you're feeling sick.
Let's switch topics here and talk a little bit about the student newspaper at Marshall, the Parthenon. Usually the paper covers the news, but it's almost never in the news. But with student reading habits changing, the paper is changing too. Marshall students who have walked to class this semester may or may not have seen the Parthenon newspaper stands around campus. The Parthenon says the papers aren't being picked up as much as they would like.
I'm an engineering student. Most of the time I don't see the stands. Instead, I just read the online articles.
Since the Parthenon began publication in 1898, the newspaper hasn't focused much on its online content, but wants to start focusing on it. The student newspaper says they see a significant shift and wants to focus on building its social media and online content.
I picked it up once or twice, but usually I read it online or just see it on like Instagram, like social media and whatnot.
The Parthenon says they don't have exact numbers on how many papers get picked up, but understands it's low. The online numbers have been increasing almost every month for the student newspaper, and their website viewership is up nearly 4,000 from last month. It jumped from 15,000 to 19,000. The shift to online content is super important for newspapers because now we're in the digital age, and young generations are now online and active on social media. Chase Matheny, MU Report.
I've noticed it just like you have, Chase. We're really just not the generation that's going to go pick up a physical copy of the paper.
And I do like the shift to online, and full disclosure, I do work for the Parthenon, but I also like that the Parthenon offers a paper as well.
Finally, on this edition of MU Report, a story about a resource available to Marshall students that few may know about. It's called the Lead Center, and it's a space for helping students to be empowered. And organizers say it's all about teaching and modeling leadership. The basement of the Memorial Student Center is the heart of student activities on campus. Marshall's Lead Center is an office whose mission is to cultivate students' leadership skills. Senior Joshua Dauber says he has utilized the Lead Center to network with other clubs on campus and collaborate for events.
The Lead Center has a lot of information on how to contact other groups that they may need to get involved with. Let's say they're part of Organization A. Well, they may need to talk to Organization B, and they may need to know things about them to partner with them for other events, and the Lead Center is great for those purposes.
The National Center for Education Statistics reports, recent research suggests that participation in extracurricular activities may increase students' sense of engagement or attachment to their school, and thereby decrease the likelihood of school failure and dropping out. Campus Activities Board President Ronald DeCastro says he enjoys the environment at the Lead Center and has been a member of multiple student organizations.
Every time I come down here, there's always somebody down here to hang out with, somebody to talk to. So it's just nice to come down here and relax a little bit before going home and doing schoolwork all day.
At the Lead Center, students can find resources to sharpen their professional skills as well as a supportive space. Director of Student Involvement and Leadership, Dr. Andy Hermansdorfer, wants to remind students that logging their awards and community service hours on HerdLink can assist in keeping track of achievements.
HerdLink keeps track of what students attend, what organizations they're in, what positions they hold, but that gives us lots of data, right? We know that there are over 5,000 students who are involved in at least one student organization on campus. It's not quite 50% of our student body, but we are getting there. So what I would like students to know is check your HerdLink, check your co-curricular transcript, make sure it's up to date with all your events, activities, organizations, positions held.
Students can visit the Lead Center with any questions they may have regarding events coming up, how to join an organization or club, or just how to become more involved on campus. Isabella Robinson, MU Report.
So Bella, you're right. Few actually do know about this.
Yeah, that's actually one reason I wrote the story. It really is a hidden gem, and students should know what's available to them.
That's all the time we have for this edition of the MU Report. Our newscast content is generated by students in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. MU Report is a television lab, and we are glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MU Report Media. I'm Chase Matheny.
And I'm Bella Robinson.
Have a great break.
And be sure to catch us next semester at this channel for more student news produced by the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism.